Today we will see headlines from news and we'll fix them. You know, they're either lying or they're trying to deceive you. So let's start with the first one. The Guardian. The headline in The Guardian is, "Fighting intensifies between Israel and Hezbollah despite diplomatic drive." The problem with that is that underneath it you say Hezbollah fired 55 missiles at town in Israel. Hezbollah fired more than that almost every day. So how is it intensify? And after that you wrote, they fired this missile in Israel after Israel strike killed 10 Syrian workers and their relatives in Lebanon. But in the whole article, and I read it all the way, you didn't give one proof that it happened. So I decided to fix it. The real story headline is, "Fighting continues between Israel and Hezbollah despite diplomatic drive." Why do you write as if there were no Hezbollah missile attacks against Israel at these levels before this? And the content under should say, Hezbollah fire only 55 missiles at towns in Israel after Israel's strike allegedly killed 10 Syrian workers and their relative in Lebanon. Is it so hard for you to write the truth? Or are you being paid to inflate the truth and try to make your readers believe things you have no proof of? Let's check our next news from BBC. Israel-Hezbollah attacks resume after Lebanon says 37 killed in Israeli strike on Beirut. Well, excuse me, but when did you decide that whatever Lebanon says is that's the truth? When you write it like that, it sounds like everything they say is the truth. And they will never lie. Is that right? When you write something, you should write as an outsider and not as someone who supports a certain side. You are a news reporter or an activist. The real headline should be, Israel-Hezbollah attack resumed after Lebanon say without proof, 37 killed in Israel strike on Beirut. It is not known whether they are terrorists or civilians. The way you write it, it sounds like civilians only, or mostly killed in Israel strike. But you don't know if the number is true, you don't know if it's civilian or terrorist, you don't know anything. But you still write whatever the fuck you want. This is not news. Now let's continue with another bullshit story from Middle East EYE. Lebanon pager blasts, Israel's cyber-terrorism signals a new warfare strategy. Well, we have a lot to say about that. First of all, how can you be a terrorist when you fight to protect your citizens from terrorists? Second of all, in the bottom line you write, unable to achieve a strategic victory against Hezbollah, Israel has resorted to a miniaturized form of weapon of mass destruction and collective punishment in the north. Well, when you are stupid, you are stupid. First of all, unable to achieve a strategic victory against Hezbollah. Do you mean that Israel doesn't want to blow up cities and villages with citizens that Hezbollah is hiding among them, and that's why they don't achieve a strategic victory? I understand, because in your eyes, as in the eyes of Hezbollah, to kill citizens is nothing new. You don't care. But Israel doesn't do that. So that's bullshit number one. Second of all, Israel has resorted to a minuscule of weapon of mass destruction. Really? About 3,000 beepers have exploded. How many people died? About 10? 13? How many people were injured? About 25,000? 30,000? Are you stupid? If every beeper well had enough explosion to kill people around it. First of all, everybody that had the beeper would have been dead. That means at least minimum 2,500 would be dead. And you will have a couple of thousand injured on the side. That didn't happen, so how the fuck do you say weapon of mass destruction? Huh. And collective punishment? The beeper are of Hezbollah, the terrorist organization. That means that everybody that had those beeper was a part of the terrorist organization. So, where is the collective punishment? The only way that it's collective punishment is if you're saying that everybody in Lebanon are a part of the Hezbollah terrorist organization. Is that what you're saying? Let's fix your fucking headline and your writing. Say it like that. Lebanon pager blast. Israel's cyber attacks signalize a new warfare tragedy against a terrorist organization. And now, underneath, unable to bomb areas with civilians that the terrorists are hidden in. Jewish wisdom by putting small explosives in pagers and selling them to Hezbollah, terrorist organizations, which sent about 2,500 plus terrorists to the hospital. We need to have 2,500 dead to make it seem like the explosion was big enough to harm civilians, and it did not happen. I know that you will never ever write the truth because Middle East Eye is a part of terrorist organization. Now let's move to Sky News. Middle East latest. Hezbollah leadership almost completely demolished by Israel as Beirut death toll rises. I didn't change this headline even though you should not say Beirut death toll rise, but terrorist death toll rise. The button is the big problem. Israeli military say it has almost completely dismantled Hezbollah's leadership following yesterday's airstrike on Beirut. Lebanon officials say at least 37 people have been killed in Beirut following the attack, including 3 children and 7 women. Well, we have 3 children and 7 women that you don't have the proof of. That's only Lebanon officials says. That means that the rest of the people are terrorists. Well, I know that you're trying to make it seem like Israel killed only innocent people, but it doesn't work. Let's change it to the right way. Like I said, we keep the upper one, but we'll change the bottom one. Israel military says it has almost completely dismantled Hezbollah leadership following yesterday's airstrike on Beirut. And the change is Lebanon's officials say without proof, at least 37 people have been killed in Beirut following the attack, including 3 children and 7 women. You don't have proof on your website. And when you say, Lebanon official says, that means that you don't have proof. That's why you say that. You're trying to bullshit us by not saying that it's without proof. But it doesn't work, sorry. Now the last one for today from the most evil organization in the world. The United Nations Security Council holds emergency session over Lebanon. Region on the brink of catastrophe. Amazing, no? Now it's catastrophe? So, let me show you the real thing that's supposed to be. Security Council holds emergency session over Lebanon. Region on the brink of catastrophe. Of course we only do it when Israel is acting. That's why we didn't do that when Hamas invaded Israel and murdered civilians, or when Hezbollah fired rockets at civilians in Israel. Because of course they didn't do that. They didn't give a fuck when Israeli people die, when terrorist group fire a missile. That's not an emergency. When terrorist group go into Israel and kidnap, murder and rape people, that's not emergency. Only when Israel retaliates, then it's an emergency. The United Nations is the worst place in the world. I hope you like this video. Until next time. In the meantime, like, subscribe, share, and have a good day.